at the summit. Can you bring us the latest?
Well, of course, just to reiterate and emphasize on what my colleague Karabo has just said, especially on the jubilation that we are seeing on the streets of South Africa. As I've said before, this is a very different and historical time and moment for South Africa as it hosts this summit. But then, of course, this summit comes at a very difficult time as well, amidst conversations about geopolitical tensions, and those geopolitical tensions continue to weigh on the prospective announcements and promises and works of the BRICS bloc. And I guess one of the conversations, or rather the opinions that have been making rounds, is the fact that the BRICS bloc was established to be a rival to the G7, and South Africa's government has not taken that lying. It has made it clear and emphasized that the BRICS bloc was not established to be a competition with large economies in the G7 countries. Instead, it is cementing its own place in the geo-economics and geopolitical space within the world. And again, almost 22 countries have approached the BRICS bloc to join the country, the family of the 5 nations, and 22, or rather more than 20 of those other countries have not formally made a request, but we are of the understanding that there's an equal number that has also informally tried to show interest in joining the BRICS bloc, and that was according to the BRICS Sherpa Anil Suklal. And I guess all of this, the appetite and the interest, speaks to the kind of strong cooperation that the BRICS leaders continue to emphasize and preach about. In fact, here's the Prime Minister of India giving us exactly that.
BRICS has been pursuing a strong cooperation agenda across various sectors. We value that BRICS has become a platform for discussing and deliberating on issues of concern for the entire global south, including development imperatives and reform of the multilateral system. This summit will provide a useful opportunity for BRICS to identify future areas of cooperation and review institutional development.
That was the Prime Minister of India, and I guess those kinds of conversations are what exactly we are expecting to engage on and listen to as the week progresses, especially from all the other BRICS representatives and officials. We also saw earlier the Foreign Minister of Russia, Sergei Lavrov, arriving in South Africa, where he is heading the Russian delegation at this week's BRICS summit. Again, the BRICS summit is expected to pave way for a lot of conversations. Among those conversations is, of course, the efforts of moving towards de-dollarization, the expansion of the BRICS bloc, and many other issues that continue to affect these BRICS nations, but also the African continent, as, of course, the theme of this year.
A fantastic correspondence there. Now, we are, of course, going to continue to bring you all the latest updates from the summit, but we know that what you really wanted to see what's going on inside that building there, the Sandton Towers, where all those VIPs are meeting. So let's take you live there now.
Excellencies, today the business community spent the full morning in deep discussion about investment, about trade, and about technical cooperation. It is my pleasure, therefore, to invite Mr. Sim Shabalala, the CEO of the Standard Bank Group of South Africa, to summarize the main outcomes and give his reflections. And I invite Sim to take the podium. Please, you have the floor.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Minister, for that kind introduction. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it's a tremendous privilege to present this high-level feedback on the BRICS Business Forum to